This is New Time on Silkway TV channel. We introduce you with the most visible news and important events that happened throughout this week in Kazakhstan and Central Asia. More details on politics, economy, social and cultural life, with opinions from the most recognizable experts of Kazakhstan and world. I'm Dorian Sagulov, and this is what you'll see today. The president of Kazakhstan paid state visit to Azerbaijan. What was discussed with Ilham Aliyev, and how can countries benefit from new oil transit agreements? In Kazakh, the third session of the National Kurultai convened in Kazakhstan. What tasks have been completed and what to expect this year? Happy Nowruz holiday, Turkic world celebrates its own new year. Let's begin with the latest news from Akorda. President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev's week started with a state visit to Azerbaijan. Upon his arrival in Baku on Monday, he engaged in a bilateral meeting with President Ilham Aliyev.
Cənab Qazaqstan Respublikasının prezidenti, sizin Azərbaycan Respublikasına gəlməyiniz şərəfinə fəxri qaral düzülüb. Qaral rəisi Polkovnik Leytenant Quliyev.
This marks Tokayev's third visit to Azerbaijan during his presidency, and notably, he is the first foreign leader to visit Baku following the February presidential elections. During the visit, Kazakh leader congratulated Ilham Aliyev on his election victory and discussed the upcoming COP29 summit in Baku, along with prospects for enhancing strategic partnership in trade, transit, logistics and energy, areas in which the countries have long-standing and robust cooperation.
Только что мы провели детальное обсуждение буквально всех вопросов, связанных с нашим.
We have just had a detailed discussion on virtually all matters concerning our trade, economic and investment cooperation, as well as our interaction on the international stage, and have reached common conclusions. This signifies that Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan are indeed strategic partners, allied states. The prospects are very promising, especially considering that the governments will be involved in implementing the agreements reached today in the form of signed documents and agreements. The level of cooperation and interaction is quite high.
Additionally, the first ever meeting of the Supreme Interstate Council convened, attended by members of the Cabinet of Minister and official representatives of both sides. As a result, 14 agreements were signed in the fields of telecommunications, transport and logistics, trade and economics, energy and culture. Azerbaijan stands as one of Kazakhstan's primary trade and economic partners, with over 1,000 Azerbaijani capital companies operating in Kazakhstan, alongside approximately 150 Kazakh capital companies registered in Azerbaijan. Trade relations between the countries are progressing rapidly. According to the Bureau of National Statistics of the Agency for Strategic Planning and Reforms, last year's trade turnover surpassed $529 million, marking a 14.3% increase from 2022. Also in 2023, Kazakhstan's export to Azerbaijan surged by 21.7%, totaling over $426 million, while imports decreased by 17%, reaching around $73 million. Notably, the trade turnover for 2023 represents a historic peak in the economic ties between the two nations. President Tokayev highlighted that the upward trajectory in trade turnover is expected to persist.
Since 2020, the trade turnover between Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan has increased fivefold. While the absolute figures may not be as impressive, but the positive trend is undeniable. Our countries possess significant economic potential, and I believe that further successes are on the horizon. Indeed, the spectrum of cooperation is broad, ranging from transportation and logistics to digitalization, not to mention oil and gas. I am pleased with our successful engagement on the international stage, where our delegations at the United Nations and other international organizations collaborate effectively. I anticipate that this trajectory to continue.
President of Azerbaijan Ilham Aliyev in turn stressed the historical importance of the Supreme Interstate Council and thanked President Tokayev for his help in rebuilding Karabakh during a speech at a briefing for media representatives. According to Azerbaijani leader, along with strengthening bilateral cooperation, the two leaders of the two countries discussed other issues of interaction, including joint activities in international structures, primarily in the UN and OTS.
We are united in the opinion that it is necessary to further strengthen cooperation within the framework of the Organization of Turkic States, as it is an organization that brings together close, friendly and kinship countries, and also has a great potential, most importantly the potential for growth.
Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan have signed a memorandum of understanding on the establishment of the first Kazakh-Azerbaijani Center for Education and Scientific Cooperation between Atyrau Oil and Gas University and Baku High School of Oil and Gas. That was said by Minister of Higher Education and Science Sayasat Nurbek to New Time reporters during the visit to Baku. According to Sayasat Nurbek, Kazakhstan is also considering the possibility of opening a branch of the leading Azerbaijani university, ADA, in near future.
We are aiming to sign an MOU with one of the leading Azerbaijani university, the ADA University, which is the equivalent of our Nazarbayev University in Kazakhstan. This memorandum will give us foundation to start negotiating opening the ADA University's branch campus in Kazakhstan. And also we are now negotiating with Ministry of Education and Science of Azerbaijan to establish a joint research fund so that researchers and scientists in our countries could collaborate, engage in joint research, have a joint research scholarship program.
Earlier this week, my colleague Balzhan Samigulina and I participated in a teleconference with Mehriban Kasumova, host of CBC TV Azerbaijan, discussing President Tokayev's state visit to Baku. During the telebridge, we were joined with two experts, Zhanar Tulendinova, Executive Director of the Institute of Parliamentarism in Astana, and Fikret Sadykhov, Professor of Western Caspian University in Baku. Politologists expressed key points of Kazakh-Azerbaijani cooperation and the country's stance on the Organization of Turkic States. For more details, please watch the fragment of the teleconference right now.
Let us ask the opinion of expert in Baku. Mr. Sadykhov, in your view, what further measures do you think the countries will take in the direction of transit of Kazakh oil through Azerbaijan?
Страны будут предпринимать в этом направлении.
Прежде всего хочу отметить
First and foremost, I would like to highlight the significant number of documents, treaties and agreements signed between our states, all of which serve as a legal and political foundation for cooperation and relations across various fields. This includes the energy sector, where, judging by the outcomes, an agreement has been reached to increase the transportation of gas through the Caspian region. This is already a direction linked to the European continent, based on a mutual agreement. Azerbaijan is also increasing its deliveries, utilizing Kazakhstan's Caspian Basin territory to channel its products to China and the other neighboring states in the region. Thus, mutual understanding and benefit unite us in this endeavor. Despite the natural advantages for fraternal relations, economic gain is crucial for both Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan. Additionally, there is a significant project underway involving the laying of an optical fiber cable along the Caspian seafloor, signifying another substantial agreement reached, not to mention the expansion of the southern gas corridor's capacity. Therefore, this mutual benefit, these mutual interests precisely define our future mutually beneficial cooperation in the fields of energy, economics and energy cooperation.
И энергетического сотрудничества.
Следующий вопрос я хотела бы адресовать спикеру из Казахстана. Как сегодня, на ваш взгляд, госпожа Тулендинова, можно характеризовать...
Ms. Tulendinova, how can we characterize the traditional friendly and fraternal ties between the two countries today, along with the multidimensional cooperation spanning various spheres?
Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan are active participants in various regional organizations. A particularly notable aspect of our cooperation is within the framework of the Organization of Turkic States. This year, Kazakhstan holds the chairman of the OTS, with the motto being Turk Time, Turk Era, each letter of which stands for tradition, reform, unification, investment, energy, trust and knowledge. It's crucial to highlight our intention to to elevate cooperation, specifically transition and partnership within the organization onto the tracks of economic collaboration. Cultural cooperation organizations like the Turkic Council, Turkic Culture Development Fund, and the Parliamentary Assembly of Turkic States have already proven their effectiveness. Now the focus is on intensifying cooperation in the economic sphere. This unification, one aspect of our cooperation, entails standardizing practices within Turkic states. Additionally, cooperation in the energy sector, as emphasized in a recent interview by the head of our state with the Azerbaijani news agency, underscores the special role, particularly in green energy. The Organization of Turkic States is indeed one of the significant platforms for interaction between our countries.
Mr. Sadykhov, in your opinion, what role does the OTS play in the foreign policy of the two countries? Do you think the countries share the same development ideology for the organization?
I am confident that they share or have closely aligned positions in many cases. Overall, against the backdrop of very complex geopolitical processes occurring in global politics and in the region, especially in ours, the OTS plays a crucial role in cohesion and in the development of relations on both bilateral and multilateral basis. Within this organization, aside from the mentioned interparliamentary connections, there are also ongoing consultations between foreign ministries with an understanding of relationship development within the OTS and in various other directions. I believe the OTS should certainly contribute significantly to the development of a global agenda and regional cooperation. With the active participation of all members, it will undoubtedly become a powerful player that the international community will take seriously.
The national oil company of Kazakhstan, Kazmunaygas, and Azerbaijan's state oil company, Socar, have signed an agreement to increase the transit volumes of Kazakh oil through the Baku-Tbilisi-Seyhan pipeline from 1.5 million to 2.2 million tons per year. The agreement was signed during the head of state's visit to Azerbaijan. The document also entails negotiations on reducing tariffs for the transportation of oil from the Kazakh port of Aktau on the Caspian Sea coast, from where the oil is then being transported by the sea to Baku and further to the Turkish port of Seyhan on the Mediterranean coast. The parties also discussed the pumping of Kazakh oil via the Baku-Supsar route for subsequent shipment through the Georgian port of Poti.
So our agreement included 120,000 metric ton of crude per month, which makes 1.5 million ton of crude per year. But today we've signed an agreement that will, based on that, we will increase our shipments by 50%. So from 120,000 ton to 180,000 ton of crude will be shipped through the territory of Azerbaijan. All the crude supplies and transits, this is a very conservative business, I should say, and this is why we need to, both us as shippers and our buyers have to get used to this new route.
On top of that, the head of Kazmunaygas, Makhzum Mirzagaliyev, proposed to the Azerbaijani company to consider joint projects in geological exploration in Kazakhstan. In 2023, at the Kazakh president's instruction, the improved model contract was adopted, which provides better conditions for foreign investors. Such initiatives only strengthen the cooperation between the two countries, said the Minister of Energy of Azerbaijan, Parviz Shahbazov.
Today, Kazakh oil is once again being transported through the territory of Azerbaijan to international markets. We are also discussing the participation of Azerbaijani and Kazakh companies, including ours primarily, state oil and gas companies in various fields both in Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan. Thus, we are laying the groundwork for serious cooperation in the energy sector.
Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan are set to establish a joint investment fund with a capital of $300 million, said Nurlan Jakubov, the head of the Samruk Kazna Foundation, in an exclusive interview to New Time reporters. He emphasized that this initiative aims to create a unified investment platform to finance priority projects across various sectors of the economies of Central Asian countries, as well as Turkey, Bulgaria, Romania and Hungary.
This will strengthen our international cooperation between Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan, and definitely will bring us good returns, since it's going to be a fully commercial investment fund. It will be across all sectors, but predominantly, of course, we'll be looking into the middle corridor projects in order to strengthen our translogistical industry.
The Kurmangazi Center for Children's Creative Development, named after Kazakh folk composer, has been opened in the Azerbaijani city of Fizuli. The construction was carried out by the Kazakh company BI Group as a humanitarian gift to Azerbaijan. The opening ceremony of the center was attended by Kassym-Jomart Tokayev and Ilham Aliyev. The laying of the first stone of the facility took place back in March 2023. The center is located on a 1.5 hectare site with a total construction of area of 2,700 square meters. The center is designed for 600 children. In addition to creative disciplines, special attention is planned to be given to IT startups and the national culture of Azerbaijan.
This is our gift on behalf of the people of Kazakhstan. By my personal instruction, this gift is presented by the private company BI Group, and it comes from the heart, from the entire nation. I believe that this facility will undoubtedly contribute to the strengthening of comprehensive ties between our countries. I wish you success and prosperity.
President Tokayev proposed changing the national emblem of Kazakhstan. The head of state voiced this idea today at the National Kurultai, which means National Congress, in the city of Atyrau. In his opinion, the emblem of Kazakhstan is too complex to perceive and contains eclecticism and signs of the Soviet era. In addition, President Tokayev expressed concerns about religious radicalism, stating the importance of strengthening the secular status of Kazakhstan. What other goals voiced on the National Kurultai Kazakhstan needs to face, you will find in our next report. Kurultai has never been a platform for pompous gathering and useless conversation, and it will not be in the future, said Kassym-Jomart Tokayev in the beginning of his speech at the third session of the National Kurultai. The National Kurultai, or National Congress, is an advisory body to the President of Kazakhstan, where the most crucial societal issues are discussed. The current session became a platform for new initiatives. A significant portion of the tasks was dedicated to the formation of the country's national ideology, as well as specific directives in the economic sphere. Kazakhstan needs to constantly seek new points of economic growth. Kassym-Jomart Tokayev tasked the government with implementing 4 large-scale infrastructure projects, and all of them are to be realized within this year.
Прежде всего, предстоит полностью отремонтировать 55 действующих теплоисточников.
First and foremost, it is necessary to completely repair 55 operational heat sources and modernize no fewer than 6,500 kilometers of engineering networks. This will improve the quality of communal services for citizens and businesses.
On top of that, the Kazakh government is tasked with increasing the level of gasification of populated areas and modernizing no fewer than 1,700 kilometers of networks. Funding is needed for all initiatives, a significant portion of which could come from the transit of resources through Kazakhstan, and it is necessary to transform it into a transit hub of Eurasia, said the president.
Нам необходимо последовательно развивать транзитные коридоры.
We need to consistently develop transit corridors that pass through our country and comprehensively stimulate foreign trade turnover. To achieve this, we will construct logistics centers and warehouse facilities, expand the construction of railway lines, strengthen maritime transport infrastructure, and implement flexible tariff policies.
Another important growth point is IT technologies. By the end of the year, Kazakhstan intends to create a supercomputer and launch a new data center. Additionally, a digital corridor between Europe and Asia will emerge thanks to the laying of fiber optic communication lines on the bottom of the Caspian Sea.
Конкретным и измеримым результатом цифровизации.
Concrete and measurable results of digitalization include increasing railway capacity, fuel savings, and increasing company revenue. Essentially, this is how we should build the digital ecosystem. The government should scale this experience across all sectors of the economy. We must adhere to progressive standards of a modern civilization of digital nomads in everything. I believe that in this sphere we have real chances for Kazakh breakthrough.
Speaking about the ideological part of the address, the head of state paid attention to the spread of radical religious movements. According to him, Kazakhstan must combat the pernicious influence of radical ideologies. He emphasized that the national Kazakh culture is more in line with the contemporary humanitarian agenda and should take precedence over foreign radical movements.
Почитая наши духовные корни, мы должны всячески укреплять светский статус нашего государства.
Honoring our spiritual roots, we must in every possible way strengthen the secular status of our state. Kazakhstan will always be tolerant of all religions, views and teachings that do not undermine our statehood and public morality.
One of the unexpected proposals was also the initiative to change the appearance of the national emblem of Kazakhstan. According to President Tokayev, professionals, concerned citizens and the youth find the eclectic nature of the emblem, as well as the signs of the Soviet era in its design, incomprehensible. Speaking about the country's position on the geopolitical stage, Kazakhstan should not forget about pragmatism, said Tokayev. According to him, the country needs a comprehensive analysis of world events, taking into account national interests.
Наша страна остается приверженной двустороннему и многостороннему сотрудничеству.
Our country remains committed to bilateral and multilateral cooperation through constructive dialogue, active diplomatic and foreign economic activities. Our attention is focused on integration processes in the Eurasian space and in the Central Asian region.
In other words, no bloc thinking, peaceful pragmatism based on international law. Moreover, in his nearly 2-hour speech, the president touched upon many other internal aspects of Kazakhstan's life. The outcomes of implementing the new directives can be discussed at the next National Kurultai, which will take place in a year in the city of Kokshetau. Daurian Sagulov, New Time. The economy of Kazakhstan has grown by 4.2% since the beginning of the year, accelerating from 3.9% in January, stated Kazakh Minister of National Economy Nurlan Baybazarov during a government meeting. Positive dynamics are observed in the real sector by more than 5% and in the service sector by 3.5%. The greatest positive dynamics in industries are noted in construction, information and communication, transportation and storage, as well as manufacturing. Production in mechanical engineering has increased by 23% since the beginning of the year, electrical equipment by 45% and metallurgy by 11%. Changes are observed in the mining industry. The extraction of metallic ores has increased by more than 7%, while coal mining has decreased by 4%. The Minister of National Economy also outlined a series of measures to ensure further economic growth, including attracting private investments and launching new productions. The volume of trade between Central Asian countries has exceeded $11 billion, said Timur Jakselikov, the first Vice Minister of National Economy of Kazakhstan, during the first B5+1 forum in Almaty. According to Jakselikov, Kazakhstan accounts for approximately 70% of this trade. Notably, the forum, attended by representatives from the United States and Central Asian nations, including Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan and Turkmenistan, aimed to foster cooperation and enhance the business environment for the economic advancement of the region. Over 200 experts and investors from the 5 Central Asian countries and the United States convened at the forum to strengthen partnership and promote regional prosperity.
This platform is very important as a point for exchanging views and discussing on issues of regional economic integration. We are all interested in the same questions related to improving trade between our countries. Key issues include the development of cooperation in energy, transportation and water resources. Building on these foundations, we will discuss matters of mutual investment, what needs to be done to increase investments in key infrastructure and in production geared towards meeting our needs for goods, works and services.
The Council of Elders of the Organization of Turkic States convened its 15th meeting in the capital of Turkmenistan, Ashgabat. The elders emphasized the importance of expanding cooperation among Turkic states in the fields of trade, economy, culture, education, youth policy and diplomacy. Participants also discussed the necessity of increasing the role of the OTS in addressing global issues. Ahead of his visit to Baku in an interview to Azerbaijani media, President Tokayev also highlighted the growing role of the Organization of Turkic States on the international stage. According to him, the OTS is gradually becoming an influential player. Tokayev stated that the combined GDP of the Organization of Turkic States exceeds $1.5 trillion and the internal turnover has reached $42 billion. Now back to Kazakhstan. President Tokayev congratulated Kazakh citizens with the Nowruz holiday. At the suggestion of the head of state, starting from this year, Kazakhstan will celebrate Nowruz in a new format called Nowruznama. The celebration will last for 10 days, with each day having its own theme. For example, there will be days dedicated to creation, mercy, cultural and national traditions, sports, clothing and others. In his congratulations, the president mentioned the first day, Amal holiday or Day of Greeting. During these days, Kazakhstan will host over 10,000 cultural and mass events. It's worth noting that Nowruz is a holiday marking the arrival of spring and the new year, according to the astronomical solar calendar among Iranian and Turkic peoples. In 2009, Nowruz was included by UNESCO in the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. That's it for today. All the main news about Kazakhstan and Central Asia you can find here. More special projects about our country you can also watch on Silkway TV channel. So stay tuned, happy Nowruz holiday, and see you next week.